A lot of people doubted the president. A lot of people doubted the president around Syria. And I got it. That night, I was nervous too. I was nervous the night of the strikes because for a while there wasn't a lot of information. We weren't exactly sure what was going on. We didn't know the size and the scope of the Syria strikes this year in 2018. So I was a little bit nervous at first, but once the information came out, a lot of people kind of came around, but even more, I would say a much larger portion of the populace, the pro-Trump populace, didn't really come around on the Syria strikes. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't particularly support them, but I see what they're for, and I support that. I support what they're for, and I think that it's a very good strategy, and you'll see why. Because they're strategic, that you have to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is not Syria. The bigger picture, while Syria is a portion of it, the bigger picture is about rogue nations throughout the entire globe. Think back to the first Syria strike in 2017. Okay, Trump was meeting with Xi Jinping of China. Okay, they're meeting, and while they're together, while the president of China is in Washington, D.C., the president of the United States unleashes a missile strike on Syria over alleged chemical attacks. And there's a few different points of this that are significant. Number one is the strikes in Syria scared China. The New York Times here says Mr. Xi's dilemma was also acute because China has generally sided with Russia in defending Syria's president Bashar al-Assad. And because it worries that Mr. Trump might be prepared to order a similar strike on North Korea. In the Syria strikes last year, in 2017, Trump deterred Middle Eastern nations like Syria from using chemical attacks. And I want to clarify, I don't think that the chemical attacks were what we were told, but that's beside the point. You have to look at the bigger picture. So Trump's Syria strikes were used last year to put pressure on China so that China would put pressure on North Korea to make peace, because what probably happened is Jinping said to Kim Jong-un, he probably said, look, Trump is kind of crazy. He's willing to do whatever he needs to, whatever he feels like he needs to do. He could be planning an invasion right now. You need to figure out how to make peace, because otherwise you're going to end up like Gaddafi, you're going to end up like Saddam Hussein, all these other dictators that have been deposed by the United States in past years. Now, of course, Trump is not a neocon. He's not a nation builder, but this is probably what North Korea was told. And then there was the missile testing, there was the threats, all of this stuff, and Trump came out and said, if they continue to threaten us, they will see fire and fury the world has never seen before. And all throughout the media, all throughout the mainstream media, they denounced it. They're like, this is going to lead to more tensions. This is going to be bad. Ultimately, this could lead to war with Korea, a nuclear conflict. But now the Koreas are announcing a peace treaty, effectively. They've turned the demilitarized zone, the DMZ, the infamous DMZ, they've turned that into a peace zone. Kim Jong-un stepped into South Korea. Prime Minister Moon stepped from South Korea into North Korea. They shook hands. Mike Pompeo has been meeting, or he met once with Kim Jong-un. Things are looking pretty good. Tensions are about to be pretty good. Everybody's smiling. They're shaking hands. Kim has promised that, hey, we're going to cut down on the on the nuclear testing, and denuclearization is on the table. So North Korea, to President Trump's credit, now there's a lot of factors playing in, but to the credit of President Trump using leverage with China and other entities, President Trump has effectively disarmed the tensions in the Korean Peninsula. And that's not the end of it, okay? That's not the end of what we're going to see, because it doesn't end there. Korea is not the last threat. Korea is not the last nation that's threatening to build nuclear weapons or that's threatening the U.S. And what President Trump recognizes is that it's not just a madman. There's not just crazy Kim Jong-un. There's not just the crazy leader of Iran. These people want to build nuclear weapons because they feel that they have no other choice, because they're afraid, oh man, these leaders don't like me. Look what they did to Libya. Look what they did to Iraq. Look at what has happened to these leaders that the United States has overthrown. Gaddafi was dragged through the streets and sodomized. I mean, bad stuff. They don't want to be on the other end of this. So their only option is to build up a sizable, proportionate deterrent. And unfortunately, due to the size of the United States military, the power of the military in the U.S., their only deterrent is a nuclear weapon. That is their biggest bargaining chip that they can get their hands on. So, Iran. Iran feels threatened, and this is what President Trump recognizes that others don't. President Obama thinks, oh, there's just a crazy leader, or there's a crazy Iranian guy. We need to appease him by letting him slowly build the nukes. We'll give him permission to slowly do it under our supervision, and we'll give him some money just to make sure that he's not doing it now and that he's not going to launch a nuke at us. Donald Trump recognizes that there's an actual underlying issue to this, and it's the fact that they're scared. Iran is afraid of the United States. They're afraid of Saudi Arabia, their regional rival, and they're afraid of Israel because Israel is very hawkish with Iran. They've had some skirmishes. They've had some minor conflicts like the shooting down of drones, different things like that. Maybe been funding some anti-Iranian fighters in Syria to harm Iranian interests. And they're afraid because the United States backs both Israel and Saudi Arabia, who are both regional rivals. They're both regional powers, very powerful nations. And as I reported before, there is a coming Middle Eastern arms race in the Middle East. Because Iran says if the U.S. backs out of the Iran nuclear deal, we're going to resume our nuclear missile program. And Saudi Arabia came out and they said, yeah, if you guys do that, we're going to need them too. How is President Trump going to deal with Iran? Because he's going to. He's going to. What he's going to do, if you look at this article from The Hill, Pompeo says that Trump is unlikely to remain in the Iran deal, absent substantial change. And one thing that's interesting, about halfway through the article, maybe a little bit further, it's quoted that President Trump said, "Nobody knows what I'm going to do on the 12th." That's the sunset date for some of the policies within Iran, the Iran deal, and Trump will have to renew them or back out. Nobody knows what I'm going to do on the 12th. But we'll see also if I do what some people expect, whether or not it will be possible to do a new deal with solid foundations. So Trump is going to use his deal-making skills to say, we're going to pull out of that old one, but we're going to make a new one. We're going to make a new Iran deal, and it will likely include all of the Middle East because that's the root of the problem. I don't think that it's going to be like restructuring the borders or anything like that, but I seriously expect that we will be seeing a new deal encompassing the entire Middle East. The serious strikes come into that once again because President Trump has displayed last year and this year, he's displayed that he is willing to bomb nations that don't cooperate. Of course, I mean, Syria was just a convenient option. It was just, there was a chemical attack for sure, and then we used them to send a message. What does that tell Iran? That their alliance with Russia does not deter the United States from acting in its own interests? That's an incredibly important thing that you need to think of going forward next time something like this happens, because I would say that it probably will. I also think that tensions, or at least talks between us and Iran, will get more heated, similar to how they did with North Korea. You know, Trump threatening with fire and fury, the North Koreans getting more and more threatening with their testing. I think a similar thing will happen with Iran. And ultimately, it'll lead to peace, a peace that has not been seen or predicted really ever. So I think that Trump is going to bring everybody to the table, Russia, maybe Russia and China, but definitely Iran, Israel, and Saudi Arabia. And I think that he's going to get rid of this old Iran deal. He's saying that we're not going to appease anymore. We're not going to be doing that, but we're going to find a deal that'll make everybody happy. Everybody gets a little bit of something, but most of all, none of us are going to war over nonsense like this. So please look at the bigger picture going forward. Trump has, I don't want to give him all of the credit for North Korea because China played a part in everything, but they did so at the behest of Trump. So Donald Trump has been able to do what nobody else has been able to do in most Americans' living memory. Most Americans have not been alive when the Korean War was not happening. So he's been able to do there what most people have not been able to do. And the next thing that's going to happen, the next big moment, is Trump is going to make peace with Iran. You can mark my words, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. You can take it to the bank. All of my predictions have been right so far. Keep watching, keep paying attention, because it's going to happen. I will be right again. I hope this has been helpful and educational and reassuring. My name is Jake Lloyd, reporting for Infowars.com.
Maximize your potential and take your body back with Super Male Vitality. We're breaking the conditioning and fighting back against the globalists' war on male vitality. Our ultimate non-GMO formula is sourced from powerful organic herbs that have been gathered from around the world and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Infowars Life wants to bring you the highest quality products. Our unique combination of ingredients is designed to assist the body in regulating proper balance and creating superior vitality in males. Support your body and mind and take yourself to the next level. Boost your vitality and energize your life. Take control of your body. Grab a bottle of Super Male Vitality today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.